Good evening and thank you for choosing Redwood News. I'm John Kennedy O'Connor. We begin with breaking news tonight. California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency for 3 counties tonight. Citing continued dangerous fire weather, the state of emergency covers Riverside County in Southern California. That's where the Fairview fire has burned nearly 19,000 acres and is only 5% contained. But the emergency declaration also applies to El Dorado and Placer counties in the northern portion of the state. The mosquito fire in Placer County has impacted more than 68,000 acres and is 0% contained. That wildfire continues to threaten more than 1,000 homes and structures. Additionally to these fires, under the governor's declaration, we have news tonight of 2 new fires in Modoc and Siskiyou counties. The Barnes fire continues to be active this evening, with activity increasing on the east side of Buck Creek Road, north of Davis Creek in Modoc County. The Barnes fire is estimated to be around 2,500 acres, with 0% containment tonight. And the Coyote fire, also in Siskiyou County, has so far burned 297 acres with just 20% containment. The fire is burning at Coyote Ridge, west of Red Rock Lakes and southeast of Doris in the county. As we already mentioned, the Coyote wildfire that destroyed some homes and forced evacuations in both Placer and El Dorado counties continues to be a challenge for fire crews. Crews conducting a firing operation building lines with fire to try to stop the mosquito fire in its tracks. CAL FIRE saying people need to prepare to leave even before those orders come in. People leaving when those orders are issued helps crews have room to move through the fire zone to do their work. The mosquito fire has charred over 5,700 acres so far. The deadly Fairview wildfire has now charred close to 19,000 acres in the 2 days it's been burning in Southern California. The blaze was just 5% contained as of this afternoon. Authorities say 2 family members killed in the Fairview fire appear to have been fleeing the blaze. Another family member found outside their vehicle was hospitalized. Electric provider Southern California Edison said circuit activity occurred close to when the fire started, but the company isn't conceding its equipment caused the blaze. Now to the latest on the 6 Rivers lightning complex fires that continue to burn in eastern Humboldt and western Trinity counties. There's more good news tonight to report, as officials say containment of the Ammon fire is now 100%, with a further increase to 81% reported for the entire complex. Despite the hot weather, there have been no perimeter growth areas across any of the fires, as interior burning of litter and ground fuels across the forest floor is continuing. Firefighters continue to patrol the perimeter of the fire, coordinating with the aerial systems to identify the remaining hot areas near the control lines. Fire crews are working closely with local tribal leaders and forest personnel to identify the many cultural resources areas in the fire spots. Around 1,000 personnel are still working on the complex blaze. For the 9th straight day, a state flex alert has been issued by state officials who are again urging Californians to reduce their electrical usage. That's due to strain on the power grid as a result of the continuing excessive heat inland temperatures. And the National Weather Service is warning the temperature in the interior of southern Humboldt could reach over 100 degrees again tomorrow, with possible temperatures above 110 degrees elsewhere in California. California's energy grid operator again issued a flex alert asking you to conserve energy daily from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. today and Friday to avoid the potential for rolling blackouts. The heat wave across California has remained, and as we just noted, it is not expected to cool off in the coming days. We'll have further details coming up in your Weather Authority forecast a little later in this newscast. The Arcata Fire Protection District have permanently reopened their 3rd station. Our Rachel Marty was there this morning as the crew at the Mad River Station prepared for their first day back. Here's her story.
The reopening of Arcata Fire District's 3rd station today comes as revenue from Measure F, a special tax passed in 2020, allows them to increase staffing. With this funding, the district was able to fill 11 previously open positions and make some much-needed repairs.
Today is a great day. Besides being sunny out, we have our staffing opening the 3rd station. This is in part due to the tax measure that the community passed. Measure F was back in 2020. And it's taken us this long to do recruitment and training and getting everybody up to speed to finally get the station open. The engine behind me just came back from Sacramento. It's been down there for I would say pretty close to 6 months, getting a lot of work done on it. The whole goal is to keep these stations operating for, years to come.
By splitting the fire district map into 3 sections instead of 2, crews are able to significantly reduce response time.
This is a big move for Arcata Fire District. They've been down to 2 stations for a couple of years now, and so having this 3rd station opened up gives the opportunity for quicker response to the people in our community, and is going to better serve the community when there's a fire, more personnel on scene.
We're seeing over the years increase in calls and overlapping calls. So to have engines spaced out like they are, they can jump the next call and get there in a quick time.
The station's reopening is said to be permanent, and personnel are happy to be back and serving the community.
It's nice to have 3 stations open now. I think it's going to be a huge benefit for the public, and it's nice to finally be able to offer that again.
Reporting in Arcata, Rachel Marty, Redwood News.
In local Humboldt County news, social justice and local environmental groups have written an open letter to Supervisor Rex Bone and Humboldt Planning Commissioner Alan Bongio, calling for Mr. Bongio's resignation or replacement. The letter is signed by 9 leaders of various local groups who claim Mr. Bongio used racist and offensive language when discussing sovereign tribal governments. Mr. Bongio apologized for any offense he may have caused, but those calling for his resignation claim his behavior makes him unfit for the position. The UROC chief judge will be featured in an upcoming documentary series by Hillary and Chelsea Clinton. The series is based on the book of Gutsy Women and features influential women from the 21st century. The UROC Tribal Court was filmed in December, and the episode will air on Apple TV this Friday. Now to economic news, and for homeowners and first-time buyers, there may be some worrying news tonight as mortgage rates have reached their highest level since 2008. Freddie Mac reports the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage now averages around 5.9%, up about 0.2% from the week before. The rates have been rising since the Federal Reserve began efforts to reduce inflation. The Fed does not set interest rates for mortgages directly, but it can influence them. Experts say home buyers can expect mortgage rates to stay in the range of 5 to 6% over the next few months. With mortgage costs on the rise, there's also a huge increase today in the number of affordable housing units needed nationwide. The shortage comes as high demand and rent prices soar throughout the country. And now there's some federal relief to help, and states already have access to this money. Our Washington correspondent Kristen Garris explains how officials hope this new policy change makes it easier for states to boost affordable housing.
The National Low-Income Housing Coalition says this affordable housing crisis isn't limited to one city or region. The group says low-income renters face a housing shortage in every state and major metropolitan area.
Housing is a lifeline for people.
But it's a lifeline that is getting more expensive nationwide. That's why Congresswoman Alma Adams says she pushed for changes to federal housing guidance. Now, the U.S. Department of Treasury is increasing the ability for states to use American Rescue Plan money it already has for new housing projects.
They'll be able to apply for tax credits to builders, and they won't have to pass those costs on to people who are purchasing.
Another policy change expands how states can use federal funds, including efforts to repair and preserve existing affordable housing.
So much of the affordable housing stock in this country has just been, suffering from underinvestment for so long that we're at risk of seeing perfectly good homes, deteriorate and fall apart.
But housing experts tell me this shortage was bad before the pandemic, with long waiting lines for affordable units, and now the issue is even worse.
For people who had previously been able to afford the rent has gone up. They are now entering into this sort of chronic nightmare that so many other Americans are already facing.
Officials say these changes will also make it easier to pay for long-term affordable housing loans. In Washington, Kirsten Garris, Redwood News.
Looking ahead to this weekend, racing will make its triumphant return to Redwood Acres after a few weeks off. There's a lot of anticipation surrounding the event after CAL FIRE used the fairgrounds as a fire camp. As we've been reporting all week, this weekend's return to action will feature Fan Appreciation Night, the return of the Gunslinger Sprint Cars, as well as the Rumble in the Woods 50. With more on the schedule this weekend, here's Jim Redd of Redwood Acres Raceway.
Yeah, this weekend we have a big event coming up. It's a 2-night race. We're making up our Fan Appreciation Night on Saturday. Everybody gets in free. There'll be the meet and greet where all the drivers will come out on the straightaway from 5:30 to 6, and they have all their goodies and pictures and whatnot, sign autographs. And then on Saturday night we have a big event. We have the Gunslinger sprint cars coming. They haven't been here since the mid-90s. They're probably the fastest cars on asphalt that exist, and it's going to be a great night.
And Maxwell Glenn will have more on the races coming up later on in sports, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Redwood News Live at 5. The City of Eureka is celebrating September as Volunteer Month. I'm joined in the studio now by Jim Thomas from the Community Services Department to tell us about some exciting events that are coming up to mark the month. Jim, welcome to Redwood News.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you coming in. So the City of Eureka is celebrating this Volunteer Month throughout the whole month of September. What's the idea behind it?
The idea is to support and encourage volunteers to become stewards of their neighborhood and make a positive impact on the community.
And is this something that's the first year, or have you done it before?
We haven't done this before. This marks the 1-year anniversary of launching the neighborhood beautification program that the City of Eureka does. And we decided it would be a good time to try this out because of that anniversary, and also to complement Mayor Susan Siemens' Good Neighbor Week.
Yes, which is coming up also later on this month. Now, one of the events has already taken place. What was involved with that, and how did it go?
We went down to the boardwalk and we planted, replanted the flower pots that were existing there, and also filled up a whole trash can worth of trash. And we had 22 people in attendance, so it was definitely a success.
Oh, a great turnout. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, lots of events coming up. There are more planned. Let's tell us about them. The first one's on September the 10th.
September the 10th, yeah. We'll be down at Hammond Park from 10 a.m. to noon, and what we're going to work on there is improving the landscaping, replanting a planter, and then we're also going to paint a community mural, which will be really fun. It'll be all etched out, and everybody can come and just paint in and have a part of that mural as theirs.
Fantastic. Where's that going to be? On the side of a building?
That'll be on the side of the cement wall there by the basketball courts.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Well, that sounds really great. Now, next one after that is September 17th.
September 17th. We'll be down at the Wharfinger building from 9 a.m. to 10:30. And that is Coastal Cleanup Day, working with the North Coast Environmental Center as well as the California Coastal Commission, and we'll be picking up litter for that hour and a half that day, and hopefully filling up a big trash can.
I hope so too, absolutely. And then the final one for the month is September 24th.
Okay, September 24th, we'll be down at the Old Town Gazebo from 10 a.m. to noon, and that one is our last event. So we're going to work on landscaping, the flower pots there, flower beds, not the pots, and it'll be the last event. So we'll have a barbecue as well, free barbecue for those who participate, and it'll also be the announced drawing for our grand prize, which is a $200.50 gift card to Pearson's or a $25 gift card to the Carter House Inn, but that's only for people that attend all 4 events. So we're hoping that incentivizes some people to come on out and also make that positive impact.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's a great prize. That's fantastic. Oh, great for Pearson's for donating that.
Absolutely.
So,
thank you to
the
Pearson's.
22 people who came for the first event, they're already in for the show.
They're in there.
So what time are things starting? And they just need to show up, or do they need to register?
On the 10th, it starts at 10 a.m. to noon. On the 17th, 9 a.m. to 10:30. On the 24th, it's 10 a.m. to noon. There's no registration. Just come on down, bring good spirits and high ambition, and that's all you have to do.
Oh,
we bring all the supplies. We got everything they'll need to make it happen.
Fantastic. It's a great way for people to get involved as well.
Absolutely.
And anything attendees should know what who'd like to come along in terms of any members of the family and the supplies provided, etc.
It's a family-friendly event. We just kids do have to have a parent and a guardian with them and sign the waiver, but other than that, it's fully family-friendly, and we encourage people to bring their kids as well because it's a good opportunity for them to get involved as well.
And any supplies they need to bring, water or anything, or is that all that provided?
We have all the supplies.
Oh,
yes.
Fantastic. Well, the barbecue sounds really great. So just to recap, we've got 3 events, the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th.
Yes, free pizza on the 10th, too. I forgot to mention that.
Even better.
Got to have free pizza there.
Well, Jim, I hope it's a great success for you. It sounds like a really wonderful way of engaging with the community, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having us on.
No, it's a great pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much,
Absolutely.
Jim. And the weather is next. We'll be right back after this short break. As you are probably aware, Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96. Recent reports of health issues were confirmed late Wednesday before the announcement of her death at her home in Scotland Thursday afternoon. The longest-serving monarch in British history, over a span of over 70 years, she became a respected figure globally. Riley Carson has a look back at her extraordinary reign.
December 1936, a moment that forever shaped a young girl's life. After ruling less than a year, King Edward VIII abdicated the throne to his brother.
A new reign began in Britain as the Duke of York was crowned King George VI.
Making King George's eldest daughter, then Princess Elizabeth, known as Lilibet to family, next in line to the throne. 10 years later, marked a marriage. The couple would go on to have 4 children. In 1953, Queen Elizabeth II was crowned, the first to be broadcast live on television.
A story of a queen who wrote bright pages in the story of the year.
The Queen kept a busy schedule of diplomatic duties, traveling across the globe more widely than any other monarch before her, meeting with just about every U.S. president since being crowned. With no political power, the Queen wielded the influence of a figurehead. In her private life, things weren't always easy. Her 40th anniversary on the throne marred by separation, divorce, and estrangement in her children's marriages, and a fire at Windsor Castle.
It has turned out to be an annus horribilis.
Then in 1997, the death of the people's princess. Through it all, Prince Philip was, in the Queen's words, the strength and stay of her reign. He died in 2021 before his 100th birthday after more than 70 years of marriage.
It's been one of the great royal romances, I think, of history.
The Queen is succeeded by her 73-year-old son, who will reign as Charles III. He will be not only the King of the United Kingdom, but also succeeds his mother as the King of multiple North American nations, including Canada, Jamaica, Belize, the Bahamas and Grenada. Before we go tonight, today is time to dust off the jacket of your favourite book, as it marks International Literacy Day. Every September 8th, groups around the world focus on the importance of learning to read and write. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization started the unofficial holiday in 1967. The organization say at least 771 million people around the world lack basic literacy skills. To honour International Literacy Day, the National Day calendar suggests volunteering to read to your children at your local library. That's a great idea indeed. And we will be back tomorrow. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.